Thank you, David. Yes, pleased to be joined by the Canucks' newly appointed player development coach, and before that, premier checking center for the Canucks, very popular here, and a man who rose above a serious eye injury. He is Manny Malhotra. Before we get to the eye injury and how you've come back home, a comment on the game. Had it ended 1-0 Calgary, what goaltender would have taken the loss here?
We were trying to figure that out up top. That was that would have been some interesting scoring.
Yeah, would have been fascinating. All right, do you feel like you've come home?
Yeah, this is obviously this is where we live in the off season and throughout the course of the year. So it's nice to be working and living in the same place again. And the reception by the fans tonight and just the relationship I had with this organization, the friendships I made with the guys, with the training staff. It's nice to be able to be in the fold again.
Well, before we get to the eye injury, a much more pleasant moment, and that would be your return from it. It was in Game 2 of the 2011 Stanley Cup Final against the Boston Bruins. So Heather, at Heather40 tweets, did the Canucks fans' reaction to your first game back after injury in 2011 and the playoffs? And she says, it still gives me chills. Factor into your return to Vancouver. Before you answer, let's watch.
Manny Malhotra now on the ice for his first shift. What a reception. Fans rise to their feet and upon Manny Malhotra, who is injured March, and it is indeed a miracle that with that eye injury he's even able to come back. With the full shield on, he takes a hard hit.
Okay, that was special. And so the answer to Heather's question.
I think you just said it. It was extremely special for me. The fact that I was able to come back and play that year after quite a few weeks of uncertainty and not knowing what the future held, the response from the fans, and more importantly, the reception I got from my teammates and the guys in the room, it's something I'll never forget, and even looking at that clip there still gives me chills.
Tweet then from Ken Karuska, how did your values, which I'm guessing he's referring to your family and your faith, help you deal with the eye injury?
I had an incredible support system at home, starting with my wife. She was with me every single step of the way, and being an athlete herself, she knew what I was going through physically, mentally, and there was times where she gave me the TLC I needed, and there was days that she ended the pity party and gave me a good kick in the pants. But it's starting with her, and then my parents, my brothers, my sister, my like I said, my teammates here. I really think that we went beyond that threshold of being just teammates, and we became a family unit here.
All right, you came back in the playoffs, as we saw. You played the whole next season, and then the first 9 games of the lockout-shortened season. Then you and your wife, Joanne, meet Mike Gillis at a coffee bar on Granville. What did he say to you?
We had discussed briefly the year prior that he wasn't comfortable with my situation, and felt that I was unsafe out there, and he didn't want me to continue, and felt that it would be best for my interest to stop playing that year. So it wasn't really much of a choice given at that point. My third child was born at that point, and I wasn't really quite ready to pack it up and take off. So that was the end of that season, but it kind of motivated me and fueled me to kind of continue on.
All right, just so we're clear, Mike Gillis should not be painted as the bad guy here, because he didn't take you off the roster because he had an axe to grind. As you pointed out, he was concerned for your safety. His words to me at the time were, I don't want Manny to take a blindside hit and then spend 6 months in the basement with the lights off. You couldn't accept it. I think people understood that, but looking back on it, can you at least respect his concern for you?
Absolutely, absolutely. Since the decision was made, I'd always said that, I truly believe in my heart that he was acting in what he felt were my best interests. He, in that discussion we had, he saw me leaving the rink one day with my wife and my 3 kids, and he said those exact words: I don't want to see your life after hockey affected by this situation, and you have a beautiful young family, and they should have a healthy father in the mix at all times. So I fully believe he acted in my best interests, and I didn't believe that I was done, or that I was a hazard to myself. So that's the reason I continue to push on.
All right, let's skip ahead to your family. Actually, before we do that, let me ask you this. You clearly have more vision in your left eye now than you did back then. Are you prepared to tell us what the level of your vision is?
No, I never really get into the numbers of it. I say it's not what it used to be, but it's good enough, and it's truly to the point where unless somebody brings it up, I really don't think about it.
Yeah. Fair enough. Family. You and Joanne have 3 boys, and you're expecting your 4th child in December. We can do no better seeing you in action as a devoted father than with a feature that the Carolina Hurricanes did when you were with them 3 years ago. You're busy here, very busy. So I'll ask a rhetorical question. Is this the best part of your life?
Yeah, hands down. I was fortunate enough to live a childhood dream and play in the National Hockey League, and I enjoyed every minute of it. But without a doubt, this is my favorite job. I come home and they never care my goals for, goals against, my face-off percentage. They really don't care how I played. When I came home, it was just Dad, and they love me. They love me unconditionally. So it's my favorite part of the day.
Caleb, Isaiah, Eli are the 3 boys, and you're expecting a 4th child in December, as I mentioned. I guess the question is, if because of the biblical names, if it's a boy, you're going to call him Jesus?
Actually, Dan Hamhuis' daughter suggested that we call him or her Jesus because it's right around Christmas. So that was in the name pool for a little while.
They're gorgeous. That was 2013-14, so the kids are 3 years older now. But here was my favorite part of the feature that the Hurricanes did on you. It's you driving Caleb to school. Let's listen. I think we have it somewhere.
Check it out.
Oh, there it is.
Some of them run, but they can't run. Some of them try to run, but they can't run. Some of them try to run, but they can't run like this. Here's your part. Ready? Miggity, 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 mac, daddy. Run the miggity, 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 mac. Run the miggity, 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 mac, daddy. Run the miggity, 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 miggity. Yeah.
All right, that's gorgeous. What have you got Caleb listening to now at the age of 8?
It's amazing. He's got his own eclectic tastes, and we still try to sneak some '90s hip hop in there just to bring him to our generation. But no, it's great. We have a lot of dance parties at home.
991 games in the NHL, and you haven't filed your retirement papers yet. Are you still thinking about the 9 that'll get you to 1,000?
No, you know what? People ask me that question. I don't feel it necessary to do the proper steps to say so. It doesn't mean that I've got my fingers crossed coming to the rink every day hoping that Willie says I got to dress up. But no, I'm comfortable with it now. It took a lot. It's tough being on the other side of the hallway now and seeing guys that I've played with go out there, and it's obviously a different chapter in my life, but something that I'm enjoying so far.
Canucks were the NHL's worst on face-offs last year, so they badly need you. You're here in the nick of time, and it's wonderful to see you around Rogers Arena again, Manny. Thanks for your time.
Always a pleasure. Thanks, Scott.
All right.